Basically, this kid, what's his name? It's Max. I don't know why, like, of course it's Max. Hi friends, today he hates me. Today I'm going to be ranking Disney Halloween movies, hence the costumes. These are all movies that I grew up watching during like Monstober, if you guys remember that, where it was all the month of October, all the Disney Halloween specials and movies. What a time. Like, holidays used to be so fun when we were kids. There's some that are just like obviously have to be on this list, but there's a couple that I feel like are a little bit more obscure. I'm really excited just to have some nostalgia and get in the mood for Halloween more, and because Ollie is clearly done with his costume, let's get started. Alright, coming in at number 10 is Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire. Like, does anyone remember this movie? I really remember it. Like, basically, these two kids want to go out, but they're both grounded, so they decide to set their mom up on a date so they can go out while she's out, and they end up setting her up with a vampire, and the whole night they're kind of just like trying to make sure he doesn't kill her. I'm putting it as number 10 because it was one of the movies that I remember the most from like the Halloween time when I was a kid, but I just feel like it's not iconic. Like, I don't, you know, it's not like everyone like goes back to this movie or anything. If this is your favorite, no hate, it is on the list. But this movie does get points because it has Hilda from Sabrina the Teenage Witch as the mom, and I just feel like spooky vibes, like great casting choice overall. Alright, coming in at number 9 is Return to Halloweentown. This is the fourth movie in the Halloweentown franchise, and it is when Marnie goes off to college, and the movie itself is pretty good. I feel like the plot was good, there was a good amount of twists and turns. You know, Halloweentown in general is such a good movie franchise that I really liked, so overall it was a good movie. And even plot-wise, I think that this movie is stronger than maybe a couple of the other ones. But the reason I placed it at number 9 was solely because the girl that played Marnie didn't come back for this one. Like, as a child, that was so infuriating to me. Like, it was such a clear difference. They didn't even pick someone that also kind of looked like Marnie. Like, the whole entire cast was the same, except the main character. Like, you can't recast the main character like that. They should have just not even done that movie. I just feel like they could have put a little bit more effort into the recasting. Like, it's Disney, they have the resources, but they literally were like, here's another white girl, go nuts. To this day, I'm still a little bit salty and don't understand why she didn't come back for the last movie. Personally, if I had starred in 3 pretty popular and successful Disney Channel movies, I would come back for the 4th one. Like, if not for the fans, for the bag. But solely for the Marnie recasting, Return to Halloweentown takes number 9. So coming in at number 8, we have Halloweentown 2. And I don't remember what happened in this movie, and that's why it's number 8. It's lucky that they had the original Marnie, because otherwise, like, it probably would have been number 10. Because again, I don't remember what happened in this movie. Like, Mom's Got a Date with a Vampire, I remember more of that than I do Halloweentown 2. I was actually talking about doing this video with my brother, and he had to remind me that Halloween 2 even existed. Like, that's how unmemorable it was. But I did look it up and then I vaguely remembered, but this is the movie where a warlock is trying to turn all of the humans into monsters, and whatever costume that they have on at midnight on Halloween, they'll turn into that permanently. I feel like that's a cool premise, a good storyline, but I just don't really remember it. And sorry if this is your favorite, but we're giving it number 8. Alright, the competition is getting cutthroat. Coming in at number 7 is Twitches 2. I like Twitches 2. I feel like they did a really good job of continuing the story from the first one. Basically, in this one, Alex and Cameron already know they're witches and princesses of Coventry, and Alex becomes very fixated on saving their dad. She believes that he's still lost in the shadow world, and because she didn't grow up with the dad, she's a little bit more invested in this than Cameron, which causes some issues. I felt like Twitches 2 had it all. You know, like, I have no qualms with it other than it's obviously not as good as the first one because the first one is iconic. But it's a stiff competition, so it's coming in at number 7. So coming in at number 6 is the original Halloweentown, the first one. This is where it all began. It's so iconic, honestly. Like, story-wise, I feel like the other ones were stronger, which is weird because it was the first one, you would have thought. But this is when we were introduced to the world, we were introduced to the franchise, they had original Marnie. Honestly, nothing's really wrong with it. I feel like the plot, again, could have been stronger. Basically, Marnie learns that she's a witch along with her mom and her grandma and her sister, and that there's this place called Halloweentown, which is where her grandma lives with all these other magical creatures. All the creatures in Halloweentown are mysteriously getting frozen and no one knows why, so Marnie and her grandma set off to figure out who's doing it. Spoiler alert, if you don't know what happened and you want to watch it, maybe skip ahead to the next ranking. But basically, it ends up being the grandma's ex-boyfriend from high school who's like bitter that she ended up marrying a human and as a result wants to like take revenge on all of Halloweentown. But like, she's a mother and this was her high school boyfriend, so it has literally been decades since this happened and he's still pressed. And as a child, I obviously didn't really think about it, but now that I look back on it, like, why was he still pressed? Like, bro, move on, get over it. So coming in at number 6 is the iconic Halloweentown. So number 5, like, I very well could be attacked. Like, insert the meme of the guy going, why would you say something so controversial yet so brave? But this is my ranking and my number 5 is Hocus Pocus. If you for some reason haven't watched Hocus Pocus yet, which how have you not? Basically this kid, what's his name? It's Max. I don't know why, like, of course it's Max. So Max moves to Salem, which is this town in Massachusetts. It's the Salem you're thinking about, like the witchy, like, supernatural Salem. But he gets in an argument with this girl in his class who, spoiler alert, ends up being his love interest, that these 3 witches, the Sanderson sisters, don't exist. And they end up going to the Sanderson sisters' house to try and see if they're real. From there, obviously the Sanderson sisters are real and they end up freeing them from this book that they were trapped in, and they spend the movie trying to get them back into the book. To this day, you really can't go a single Halloween without seeing Hocus Pocus. Like, it has really surpassed Disney, and I feel like that's why people don't know it's a Disney movie. All the other movies on this list I feel like are very much viewed as Disney Halloween movies, but Hocus Pocus has surpassed that, and that's why it's coming in at number 5. We are getting down to the wire now, and coming in at number 4 is Nightmare Before Christmas. I feel like this is a decision that could also be kind of controversial. Not quite as controversial as putting Hocus Pocus at number 5, but still a bit controversial. It's definitely another movie that has a cult-like following. Like, you can't go a single Halloween without seeing this movie being played somewhere. But if you live under a rock and haven't seen this one, basically there's different towns to represent each holiday, and one of them is Halloweentown, and that's where Jack Skellington lives. Jack somehow finds kind of Christmas Town, I guess, and that's where Santa is getting ready for Christmas and his elves are all there, and he loves it. He thinks it's so fun and comes back to Halloweentown declaring that they're going to be the ones to throw Christmas this year. And obviously a million things go wrong because all these people know is Halloween and they don't know how to throw Christmas. This is another one where I feel like some people don't know that it's Disney because they did release it under a different studio because they felt like it was too dark and scary for little kids. But that's actually why I'm putting it at number 4, because I feel like it was actually kind of scary as a kid, and that's like the point of Halloween movies, no? I'm really saying that, like, I don't deadass threaten to leave every single time my friends want to watch a scary movie. And like, I will go. Like, I'm not staying for any of that. There is a reason I'm ranking Disney Halloween movies and not actual horror movies. But again, Nightmare Before Christmas is one of those movies you cannot go a single Halloween without seeing. The characters are insanely memorable, the storyline is super original, and it's just a great movie. So it's coming in at number 4. Alright, next we have number 3, which I feel like may be my biggest wild card, but for number 3 I have Haunted Mansion. I feel like the ride in Disneyland for Haunted Mansion is more popular than the actual movie that it's based on, but like, it's so good, and it's like, once again, one of those movies that was actually kind of scary to me as a kid. Basically, the main character of the movie is Eddie Murphy, and he has a wife and their partners, the realtors, and they get called to come and help sell this old ass mansion. And they bring their kids and they stay there, and they find out that the mansion is actually haunted. There's actually this like really big twist that I thought was a really good twist, and I'm not gonna spoil it because I feel like this is maybe one of those movies that maybe people haven't watched yet, but go watch it. Like, it is number 3 for a reason. I want to get into it so bad, but I don't want to spoil it. There's 2 really good twists, It's pretty scary, I feel like, for like a Disney movie, and it's also funny, so there's some comedic relief too. So if you like the Haunted Mansion ride at Disneyland, or even if you don't, like, watch this movie. I swear it's good. It's number 3 for a reason. So coming in at number 3 is a Haunted Mansion. As we get further along into the rankings, I get more and more insecure about my choices. But coming in at number 2, we have Halloweentown High. I love Halloweentown High though. I think it's the best one of all the Halloweentown movies. If you haven't seen it, basically Marnie hosts a bunch of kids from Halloweentown and has them come over into the human world and attend high school there. They're basically trying to show these Halloweentown kids the human world and also kind of have them assimilate into the human high school. But the entire time they're trying to hide the fact that these foreign exchange students are basically monsters, and this secret night society is also trying to kill the kids that are visiting from Halloweentown. But I just love the premise of the movie. I love seeing the different monsters kind of assimilate into the high school and find their own interests, because there's like a fairy, there's another witch, there's an ogre, there's a werewolf, like there's all these different creatures that are coming and trying to figure out their own interests in the human world. But there's a specific scene that I love, and it's when all the creatures kind of take off their human mask and you see what they actually are. And that scene alone, like, it's such a good scene. It's so cool seeing them transform and seeing what they actually are. Aside from the premise being really cool, they had original Marnie. This is the last movie that they had original Marnie because it's the 3rd one, and the 4th one is when she goes to university and they have the girl from Aquamarine. So that also makes it rank higher because we love original Marnie. But this has always been my favorite Halloweentown movie. Like, even as a kid, this one was my favorite, so I think it just has a special place in my heart. But coming in at number 2, we have Halloweentown High. Alright, number 1, and you probably already know what it is based on deductive reasoning and the fact that I haven't said it yet, because obviously it's on this list. My favorite Disney Halloween movie is Twitches. So it's obviously called Twitches because twin witches. Exactly. If you haven't seen it, basically there's these 2 girls named Alex and Cameron, and on their birthday, which also happens to be on Halloween, they run into each other and find out that they're not only twins, but also witches and also princesses of this supernatural other realm named Coventry. Twitches is just so good. Like, honestly, anything with Tia and Tamara Mowry is a masterpiece. I love Sister Sisters, 17 again, such a good movie. And then Twitches 2, Twitches, everything they do, amazing. I love. Twitches is honestly my go-to movie when I want to watch a Disney Halloween movie. I watch it every single year basically. This is one of the only movies I can think of from that time where a person of color was the lead, let alone 2 people of color. And I also feel like they put a good spin on the whole finding out you're magical kind of trope by having it feature twins. Twitches for me just brings the nostalgia. Like, it reminds me of being so excited to get out of school so I could go home and watch Monstober, or asking my mom if I could extend my bedtime by 30 minutes so I could watch it when it was airing. So it has to be number 1 for me. It has to be. I hope you agree. If you don't, make your own YouTube video. But that's gonna be it for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed because I had a lot of fun filming this one. It's my excuse to wear a costume given I'm not doing anything for Halloween, so I really hope you liked it. It was definitely kind of a new, different kind of video for me. So if you liked it, make sure to leave a like and a comment and let me know and I can do more. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. You can head to my channel to watch some more videos that are a lot different than this. I do a lot more lifestyle, fashion, makeup kind of videos, but you can head to my channel to watch some more. I hope you all have a fun and safe Halloween. Please be safe. Don't be stupid. We don't need more stupidity in 2020. But I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!